So today we're going to be reading Voyage to Pluto. And before we read Voyage to Pluto, just like you should with any text, you're going to preview the text. You want to get an idea, is this fiction or nonfiction? You want to be thinking about what are the different story elements that compose each genre. And while you are skimming this, keep in mind the importance of why we want to get an idea for the genre, because when we do, that helps us identify what genre-based thinking jobs to use while we're reading, and then that way it helps us be able to identify the main idea easier. And when you can identify what your main idea is more accurately and easily, it makes comprehending and responding to your passage much more easy. So right now, go ahead and identify what is the text genre. So, after skimming it over, you should have identified that this was a nonfiction text. As I skim over it, and as I did, I see that there are headings, I see dates, I see a picture with a caption, and those are all things that I know belong in nonfiction texts. So that helped me identify that I'm going to be using the big topic, what was the text teaching me, and what is the author's point of view, as my thinking jobs. And so while I am reading the story, I want you taking notes, writing down facts, any key points that the author is writing. So then that way, when we answer what is the big topic, what was the text teaching us, and what is the point of view, we'll be able to more accurately and easily answer those. So, Voyage to Pluto by Ken Croswell, PhD. In this informational text, Ken Croswell discusses the New Horizons spacecraft's voyage to Pluto. The spacecraft was launched in 2006 and arrived at Pluto's system in 2015. Pluto was considered a planet until 2006, but then scientists decided it should not be counted as a planet. This announcement led to new interest in Pluto. As you read, take notes on what the New Horizons spacecraft observed about Pluto. In 2015, a spacecraft named New Horizons sped past Pluto, the farthest world NASA has ever visited. The spacecraft found tall mountains on Pluto and deep canyons on its largest moon. I think the solar system saved the best for last, said Pluto scientist Dr. Alan Stern. Pluto is billions of miles from the Sun and Earth. It is so far away that our telescopes can't see it well, so no one knew what the spacecraft would see. So, using the title in the first two paragraphs, what do you think is going to be the big topic of this article? Pluto versus Eris. Pluto belongs to a belt of objects beyond the orbit of a distant planet, Neptune. If Pluto was as big as a basketball, the typical object in this belt would be smaller than a marble. But in 2005, astronomers found a similar world, Eris, which is much farther than Pluto. If it's not larger than Pluto, then I'll eat my telescope, the discoverer claimed in 2010. Eris passed in front of a star and blocked its light. How long this event lasted revealed how big Eris is, 1,445 miles across. The New Horizons spacecraft measured Pluto's size, 1,477 miles across. So Pluto is bigger than Eris. In fact, Pluto is the largest object in the solar system beyond Neptune. A cold world with a heart. Pluto is far from the sun. That sunlight there is weak. So Pluto is cold. The coldest temperature ever observed on Earth, near the South Pole, is negative 129 degrees Fahrenheit. But the spacecraft measured Pluto at negative 397 degrees Fahrenheit. Pluto is the coldest world a spacecraft has ever visited. The New Horizons spacecraft surprised and delighted everyone by finding a huge white heart on Pluto. The heart-shaped region is 1,000 miles across, bigger than Texas. Scientists named this heart Tombaugh Regio, after Clyde Tombaugh, who discovered Pluto in 1930? Tom Ball. Pluto's heart may be white because of frozen nitrogen and carbon monoxide. Nitrogen gas makes up most of the air on both Earth and Pluto, but Pluto is so cold that most of its nitrogen freezes and turns into ice. Carbon monoxide is a poison gas on Earth, but Pluto is so cold that this gas also turns to ice. Maybe geysers or volcanoes in Tombaugh Regio erupt nitrogen and carbon monoxide gas that freezes, coloring this area white. Pluto's heart has immense mountains 2 miles high. That's as tall as the Rocky Mountains. But Pluto's mountains aren't made of rock. Instead, they're made of water ice. Pluto is so cold that its water ice is as hard as rock. Glaciers made of nitrogen ice flow across parts of Pluto. So, what's the most important idea about our big topic in that paragraph? Why do you think that was included? Mysterious moons. The spacecraft also looked at Pluto's 5 moons. The largest is Charon, spanning 753 miles. Charon is about half Pluto's diameter. While Pluto is orange, Charon is gray, and it has a polar cap. The polar caps on Earth and Mars are bright white. Charon's polar cap is dark. Charon has canyons that dwarf the Grand Canyon in Arizona. The Grand Canyon is about a mile deep. It formed when a river cut through rock. Charon's canyons are hundreds of miles long and up to 4 miles deep. They probably formed when Charon's crust tore apart. Charon has craters that scientists have named of characters of the TV series Star Trek: Kirk, Spock, Sulu, and Aurora. Like Earth, Pluto and Charon are round because they have enough mass that their gravity squeezes them into spheres. But Pluto's other moons are so small their gravity isn't strong enough to force them into round shapes. Styx is an egg-shaped. Another moon, named Nix, is shaped like a jelly bean. The next moon out, Kerberos, looks like 2 small moons stuck together. And Pluto's outermost moon, Hydra, is shaped like Michigan's Lower Peninsula. The New Horizons spacecraft looked for more moons around Pluto but did not find any. That disappointed scientists. But the mission was a big success. Someday, another spacecraft may visit, one that will circle Pluto again and again. That way we can study Pluto and its moons for years, discovering even more about these distant and mysterious worlds. So thinking about why the author included that paragraph and section, and based on everything that we've read, what do you think was the author's point of view for writing this? Why did they write this? Why did they give you the headings of mysterious moons, a cold world with a heart, Pluto versus Eris? Why did they include all of that information? They did because they have a viewpoint or a stance on it that they want to take, and that's why they included that. So you need to think about that when you're writing what your point of view is, or what the author's point of view is from the article. Now, remember, the main idea, you're telling me what is the big topic, what was the text teaching you, and what was the author's point of view. And remember, you're not saying that the author's point of view was to inform or to entertain. You're telling me why they wrote the article. So, good luck, have fun, enjoy the article, and I know we all look forward to reading everyone's responses. Thank you.